The best way to predict the future is to create it. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Not just a vague idea. Have you actually planned it? The truth is, whether you take control or not, the next 10 years will pass. The only question is, will you be in the same place? Or will you have built something extraordinary? Most people underestimate the power of small, consistent actions over time. They dream big, but take no action. They overestimate what they can achieve in a week, yet completely underestimate what they can accomplish in a decade. The reality, success is not an accident. It's a choice. It's a series of daily habits, mindset shifts, and small steps that, when compounded, transform your life. You have two choices: keep waiting, making excuses, and hoping things will change. Or decide today that you will take full control of your next 10 years. Today, I'm going to show you how to fix your next 10 years, how to make the right decisions, develop unstoppable discipline, and take control of your life. Stay with me for the next few minutes as I break down the exact steps to transform your future, starting today. Number 1, the reality check. Where are you now? Aristotle once said, "Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom." Before you can fix your next 10 years, you must first face the truth about your present. Many people drift through life without ever stopping to assess where they truly are. They have dreams, but their daily actions don't align with those dreams. They say they want success, but they spend hours scrolling through distractions. They say they want financial freedom, but they never track their spending. They want to be healthy, but they keep making excuses to skip workouts. Does this sound familiar? Let's take a lesson from history. In the early 1900s, Henry Ford had a vision to make automobiles affordable for the average American. But before revolutionizing transportation, he had to face the reality of his limitations. The early models of his cars were expensive and inefficient. He could have ignored the truth, made excuses, or blamed circumstances. Instead, he analyzed what was wrong, simplified his production process, and created the assembly line. That one decision changed not just his future, but the entire automobile industry. Now let's apply this to your life. Are you being honest with yourself about where you are? Take a moment to evaluate the key areas of your life: your health, finances, career, relationships, and mindset. Are you where you want to be? If not, why? What habits, choices, and patterns brought you here? Many people live in denial, blaming circumstances, bad luck, or even other people. But the moment you stop making excuses and take responsibility for your current situation, you gain the power to change it. Napoleon Hill, the author of Think and Grow Rich, interviewed hundreds of successful people and discovered a common trait. They all had a moment of self-awareness where they admitted their weaknesses and made a conscious decision to change. If you don't take control of your direction, life will decide it for you. In 1975, Kodak was at the top of the photography industry. They even invented the first digital camera. But instead of recognizing the future and adapting, they ignored the reality of technological change. By 2012, they filed for bankruptcy. Why? Because they refused to acknowledge the truth and make necessary adjustments. So ask yourself, what reality have you been avoiding? Are you spending your time wisely? Are you developing the skills needed for success? Are you taking care of your health, your mind, and your financial future? The first step to fixing your next 10 years is to stop lying to yourself. Write down exactly where you are today, in all major areas of life. Be honest. This is your personal reality report. Then identify what needs to change. The moment you face the truth, you take back control. This isn't about regret, it's about opportunity. If you're not where you want to be, that's good news, because that means you can change, and change starts now. Number 2, the power of decisions. One choice can change everything. Every major success story begins with a single decision. The difference between where you are now and where you will be in 10 years comes down to the choices you make today. Every great leader, entrepreneur, and innovator had to make a choice to change their habits, take a risk, or commit to a vision before they ever saw results. A powerful example is Andrew Carnegie. Born into poverty, Carnegie could have resigned himself to a life of struggle. Instead, he made a crucial decision at a young age to become a student of success. He spent every spare moment reading books and studying successful people. This one choice led him to become one of the wealthiest men in history. His decision to prioritize learning over entertainment shaped his future. Now let's bring this to you. Every decision you make has a consequence. The food you eat today impacts your health, in 10 years? The books you read or don't read shape your intelligence and thinking. The skills you develop determine your earning potential. The people you spend time with influence your habits. Your entire life is a reflection of your choices. Consider this. In 1968, IBM had a chance to acquire the small but promising software company Microsoft. They chose not to because they didn't see the potential of personal computers. Decades later, Microsoft became one of the most valuable companies in the world, and IBM missed one of the greatest opportunities in history. One choice changed everything. Some decisions feel small in the moment, but compound over time. For example, imagine two people. Person A starts saving and investing just $100 per month at age 20, while person B delays saving until age 30. By the time they're 60, person A has significantly more wealth because of one early decision. This is called the compound effect, where small choices, when made consistently, create massive long-term results. The problem is, most people don't make intentional choices. They live on autopilot, reacting to life instead of actively shaping it. They let circumstances, emotions, and other people dictate their path. They say, I'll start saving when I earn more money. I'll get in shape when I have time, or I'll chase my dreams when I feel ready. But time passes, and nothing changes. The harsh truth, not making a decision is also a decision. Choosing not to improve your skills is a decision. Choosing to waste time is a decision. Choosing to stay in a toxic environment is a decision. So what can you do? Start making high-impact choices today. Decide what you want. Be clear about where you want to be in 10 years, financially, physically, emotionally, and intellectually. Make small, consistent decisions. Success is built on daily actions, not one-time efforts. Eliminate excuses. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. They don't exist. Surround yourself with people who make strong decisions. Environment shapes behavior. In 1976, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak decided to build a company in a garage. They could have waited for the perfect time, for more money, or for approval from others. But they made a bold decision to start. That decision led to Apple, one of the most influential companies of all time. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to make a decision to start. If you don't take control of your choices today, your future will be decided for you. Number 3, breaking the illusion. Hope without action is useless. How many times have you heard someone say, I hope things get better? Maybe you've even said it yourself. I hope I get a better job. I hope I become successful. I hope I get in shape. But here's the truth. Hope alone changes nothing. You can hope all you want, but if you're not taking action, if you're not making moves, then 10 years from now, you'll still be standing in the same place, wishing for a better life. Think about this. How many people do you know who have been talking about starting a business for years but never do? How many people say they want to get fit, but they keep making excuses? How many people say they want to be rich, but they never learn about money? The reason most people fail isn't because they're unlucky. It's because they're waiting instead of doing. Look at Thomas Edison. When he was working on the light bulb, he didn't just hope it would work. He experimented over 10,000 times until he found the right formula. He didn't sit around wishing for the perfect solution to magically appear. He took action, failed, learned, and tried again. That's the difference between dreamers and doers. Dreamers sit and wait. Doers make things happen. The biggest trap people fall into is wishful thinking. It's the illusion that someday things will get better on their own. But life doesn't work that way. Take Blockbuster, for example. They were the biggest name in video rentals in the 90s. They had all the resources, all the power. But instead of adapting to change, they hoped their old business model would keep working. They refused to take action when streaming services started rising. And what happened? By 2010, they were bankrupt. Meanwhile, Netflix, a company Blockbuster could have bought for just $50 million, took over the industry. One company hoped, the other took action. And that made all the difference. Now, let's talk about you. Where in your life are you hoping instead of acting? Are you hoping for more money but still spending recklessly? Are you hoping for a healthier body but still skipping workouts? Are you hoping for success but not putting in the work? It's time to break that illusion. It's time to stop waiting and start doing. The problem is, most people don't even realize they're stuck in this trap. They make excuses instead. I don't have time. I don't have money. I don't have the right connections. But the truth is, there is no perfect time. No one ever became successful by waiting for the stars to align. If you keep waiting for the right moment, you'll wake up one day and realize you've wasted 10 years doing nothing. So what's the solution? It's simple. Take action, no matter how small. If you want to start a business, don't wait for the perfect idea. Start researching, start learning, start putting something together. If you want to get in shape, don't wait until Monday. Do 10 push-ups right now. If you want to improve your finances, don't wait for a higher salary. Start by saving even just a few dollars. Small actions done consistently create massive change over time. In 1973, Oprah Winfrey was a struggling news anchor. She could have hoped for success. She could have waited for someone to hand her a big break, but instead she worked harder, learned more, and refined her craft. By 1986, she launched The Oprah Winfrey Show and built a media empire. Her success didn't come from luck. It came from relentless action. The same principle applies to you. If you're not where you want to be in life, it's because of what you're not doing. And that's good news, because it means you have the power to change it. But you have to make a decision today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because if you don't, the next 10 years will look exactly like the last 10. No more hoping, no more waiting. It's time to act. Number 4, the mindset shift. Train your brain for success. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have. It can either be your greatest weapon or your biggest enemy. If you don't train your mind for success, it will default to mediocrity. Most people don't fail in life because they lack opportunities or talent. They fail because their mindset keeps them stuck. Think about it. 2 people can have the same resources, the same environment, even the same skills, yet one will rise to the top while the other struggles. Why? Because of mindset. The way you think controls the way you act, and the way you act determines your results. Take Henry Ford, for example. In the early 1900s, when he set out to make cars affordable for the average person, people told him it was impossible. Competitors laughed at the idea. Instead of listening to negativity, he trained his mind to focus on solutions, not limitations. He believed it was possible, and because he believed it, he found a way to make it happen. That's the power of a trained mind. Now compare that to someone who constantly says, I can't. It's too hard. I don't have the right background. What do you think happens to them? They create their own failure before they even start. Their negative thoughts become their reality. The problem is, most people don't realize they're sabotaging themselves. They don't see that their own thinking is holding them back. They blame circumstances, the economy, or their past. But the real issue is the story they tell themselves every single day. If you tell yourself you're not good enough, you'll never take the action needed to succeed. If you tell yourself money is hard to make, you'll never attract wealth. If you tell yourself success is for other people, you'll always settle for less than you deserve. But here's the good news. You can reprogram your mind for success. Just like a muscle, your brain gets stronger with training. You can learn to think like successful people. And when you do, your life will start to change. So how do you do it? How do you shift your mindset? First, eliminate limiting beliefs. Write down the thoughts that have been holding you back. Maybe you've been telling yourself, I'm not smart enough, I don't have the right connections, or I'll never be successful. Now ask yourself, are these facts or just excuses? More often than not, they're just old mental programs that have been running in your head for years. Challenge them. Replace them. Instead of I can't, say I am learning and improving every day. Instead of I don't have opportunities, say I create my own opportunities. Second, feed your mind with the right information. In the 1930s, Napoleon Hill interviewed over 500 of the world's most successful people for his book Think and Grow Rich. He found that every single one of them constantly fed their minds with knowledge, ideas, and inspiration. They read books. They studied success. They surrounded themselves with people who thought big. What are you feeding your mind every day? Are you watching endless entertainment, or are you reading books that expand your thinking? Are you listening to negative people, or are you learning from those who have already succeeded? The information you consume determines how you think, and how you think determines how you live. Third, train your mind to see opportunities instead of obstacles. Life will always present challenges. The difference between those who win and those who fail is perspective. In the 1950s, Colonel Sanders had every reason to quit. He was over 60 years old, broke, and had just lost his restaurant. Instead of giving up, he saw an opportunity. He took his fried chicken recipe and knocked on over 1,000 doors trying to sell it to restaurants. Most people would have stopped after 10 rejections. He kept going. Eventually, one restaurant said yes, and that led to the creation of KFC, one of the most successful fast food chains in history. If you train your mind to look for solutions instead of excuses, your entire life will change. You will start to see possibilities where others see problems. You will find ways to win when others give up. Finally, take control of your daily thoughts. Every morning before you even get out of bed, decide what kind of mindset you're going to have. Are you going to focus on progress, or are you going to focus on problems? Are you going to believe in yourself, or are you going to doubt? The choice is yours. The next 10 years of your life will be shaped by how you think today. If you want success, if you want real change, start by mastering your mind, because once you control your thoughts, you control your future. Number 5, the habit revolution. How small actions shape your future. Most people believe that success comes from one big break, one lucky opportunity, or one huge decision. But that's not the truth. Success is not one big thing. It's the small things, repeated over time, that create massive results. Your future is being shaped right now, not by what you do once, but by what you do every single day. Every action, every decision, every habit you build is either pushing you forward or holding you back. If you want to fix your next 10 years, you don't need to wait for a miracle. You just need to change the small things you do every day. Think about it. If you eat fast food every day, nothing bad happens immediately. But after a year, 5 years, 10 years, your health will decline. Now imagine the opposite. If you eat a little healthier each day, exercise just a little, and make slightly better choices, over time, you will become stronger, healthier, and more energized. This is called the compound effect. Tiny choices, repeated over time, create massive change. It works in every area of life. Your finances, your health, your career, your relationships. And the best part, you don't need to make huge changes all at once. You just need to start small and stay consistent. Look at how Warren Buffett became one of the richest men in the world. He didn't make one big trade and suddenly got rich. He built the habit of smart investing, reading and making calculated financial decisions every single day. Over decades, those small decisions compounded into billions of dollars. The problem is, most people focus only on the big picture. They say things like, I want to be successful. I want to be rich. I want to be in shape. But they never break these goals down into daily habits. And because they don't see results right away, they give up. If you want to take control of your next 10 years, you have to understand one thing. Your future is hidden in your daily routine. If you don't like where your life is heading, don't wait for a miracle. Change your habits. The key to success is not motivation. Motivation comes and goes. Some days you feel excited, and some days you don't. The real key is discipline, and discipline is built through habits. Here's how you can start building powerful habits today. Step 1, start small. Most people fail at habits because they try to change too much at once. They decide to go to the gym every day, stop eating sugar, wake up at 5 a.m. and read for 2 hours, all at the same time. And after a week, they burn out. Instead, start small. If you want to read more, start with 5 minutes a day. If you want to get in shape, start with 10 push-ups. If you want to improve your finances, start by saving just $1 a day. The goal is to make it so easy that you can't fail. Once the habit becomes natural, you can increase it. Step 2, attach it to something you already do. One of the best ways to make a habit stick is to attach it to something you already do every day. This is called habit stacking. If you drink coffee every morning, read 1 page of a book while drinking it. If you brush your teeth at night, do 5 squats before brushing. If you commute to work, listen to an educational podcast instead of music. Attaching habits makes them stick because your brain connects them to something familiar. Step 3, track your progress. One of the simplest but most powerful tricks is keeping track of your habits. Jerry Seinfeld, one of the most successful comedians of all time, used a simple strategy. He wrote jokes every single day. To stay consistent, he used a calendar and put a red X on each day. He completed his writing. His goal, don't break the chain. This works for anything. If you want to build a habit, use a calendar, an app, or a notebook. Seeing a streak of completed days keeps you accountable and builds momentum. If you want to be financially free, track your spending every day. If you want to be in the best shape of your life, exercise for 10 minutes every morning. If you want to be smarter and more successful, read for 20 minutes every day. These are the habits that will transform your next 10 years. It's not about one giant move. It's about tiny daily improvements that lead to massive change. The biggest mistake people make is waiting for the right time to start. They wait for more money, more time, more motivation. But your next 10 years will not be decided by one big event. It will be shaped by what you do every day. So ask yourself, what are your current habits leading you toward? Are they taking you closer to success, or are they slowly pushing you toward failure? If you want to take control of your future, take control of your habits. Because once you master your daily routine, you master your life. Number 6, the power of learning, read, study, and seek knowledge. The gap between where you are now and where you want to be is not determined by luck, talent, or opportunity. It is determined by what you know and how you apply that knowledge. The people who succeed in life are not the ones who wait for someone to hand them the answers. They are the ones who go out and search for them. They read, they study, they learn from others, and they apply what they learn. Knowledge is the key to everything you want in life, but most people never take the time to truly seek it. Think about it. Every skill you need to be successful is already out there. Every lesson you need to grow your business, become financially free, improve your health, or develop a powerful mindset has already been written in a book, recorded in a video, or shared by someone who has done it before. But the question is, are you actively seeking that knowledge? Or are you just hoping that somehow things will change on their own? Because the truth is, if you are not learning, you are falling behind. Most people struggle not because they lack opportunities, but because they lack the right information. They keep making the same mistakes over and over again because they never take the time to learn a better way. The most successful people in the world understand one thing: learning is a lifelong process. It never stops. The moment you stop learning, you stop growing. And the moment you stop growing, your future starts shrinking. Andrew Carnegie was born into poverty, but he became one of the richest men in history. How? Because from a young age, he made a commitment to learning everything he could about business, finance, and success. He didn't have money, but he had books. He didn't have mentors in the beginning, but he studied the greatest minds of his time. And because he was willing to seek knowledge, he built an empire. Now think about the average person today. They have access to more knowledge than ever before in human history. They can read any book, watch any documentary, listen to any expert, but instead they spend hours scrolling through distractions, wasting time on things that add no value to their lives. They could be learning about financial freedom, but they choose entertainment. They could be studying business, but they choose gossip. And then they wonder why nothing changes. If you want to be ahead in life, you need to be obsessed with learning. You need to read, listen, study, and apply new knowledge every single day. Because every time you learn something valuable, you increase your chances of success. One idea from a book can save you 10 years of mistakes. One lesson from a mentor can change your entire perspective on life. One strategy from someone who has already succeeded can shortcut years of struggle. Reading is one of the most powerful habits you can develop. Almost every successful person is a reader. Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, reads for hours every single day. Bill Gates, Elon Musk, and Oprah Winfrey all attribute much of their success to the fact that they never stop learning. They don't just read for entertainment. They read to improve, to grow, to expand their thinking. Benjamin Franklin had almost no formal education, but he became one of the greatest minds in history. How? He read constantly. He studied everything he could get his hands on. He knew that knowledge was the one thing that could never be taken away from him. And because he never stopped learning, he became an inventor, a scientist, a businessman, and one of the most influential leaders of his time. The biggest mistake people make is believing that learning ends after school. They graduate, get a job, and stop reading, stop studying, stop seeking new knowledge. But the world is changing every single day. If you are not constantly learning, you are getting left behind. The most successful people never stop studying, improving, and growing. They know that if they want to stay ahead, they have to keep expanding their minds. It's not enough to just consume information. You have to apply it. If you read a book about business, start implementing what you learn. If you watch a video about success, take action on the advice. If you learn about health, Start making changes in your daily routine. Knowledge alone is not enough. It's what you do with it that matters. Your future will be determined by the knowledge you gain and how you use it. 10 years from now, you will either be the same person you are today or someone completely different. And the only thing that will make that difference is what you choose to learn and apply along the way. The people who succeed are not the ones who wait for someone to give them the answers. They are the ones who go out and find them. So if you want to take control of your future, start today. Pick up a book, watch a lecture, study someone who has already done what you want to do, because your next 10 years will be shaped by what you know and how you use it. Number 7. Overcoming setbacks, turning failures into fuel. No matter how hard you try, no matter how well you plan, life will knock you down. You will face failures, setbacks, and disappointments. It's inevitable. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple: how they respond to failure. Most people see failure as the end. They take one loss and assume they're not meant to succeed. They try something new. It doesn't work, and they quit. They face rejection and decide they're not good enough. But the truth is, failure is never the end unless you let it be. The most successful people in history failed more times than they succeeded, but they never let failure define them. They used it as fuel. Take Thomas Edison, for example. When he was inventing the light bulb, he failed over 10,000 times. Most people would have given up. Most people would have said, maybe I'm just not meant for this. But Edison saw it differently. He didn't see those 10,000 failures as wasted time. He saw them as 10,000 lessons. He said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. And because he refused to give up, he created the light bulb and changed the world. Now think about your own life. How many times have you let failure stop you? How many dreams have you abandoned because of one setback? How many times have you told yourself, maybe it's just not meant to be, instead of saying, what can I learn from this? The truth is, failure is a lesson, not a life sentence. Every failure contains valuable information, but only if you're willing to learn from it. Henry Ford, the man who revolutionized the automobile industry, went bankrupt multiple times before he built Ford Motor Company. His early businesses failed. He made mistakes. He lost money. But instead of quitting, he studied his failures. He analyzed what went wrong, adjusted his approach, and tried again. Because he refused to let failure define him, he created one of the most successful car companies in history. The problem is, most people take failure personally. Instead of seeing it as an event, they see it as an identity. They don't just fail at something, they believe they are failures. They make a mistake and assume they are not good enough. But failure is not who you are. It's something you experience. And if you learn from it, failure becomes one of your greatest tools for success. Look at Walt Disney. Before he built his empire, he was fired from a newspaper because they said he lacked imagination and had no good ideas. His first animation company went bankrupt. He was rejected by multiple investors before finally securing funding for Disneyland. Most people would have given up after the first rejection. But Disney believed in his vision, and because he kept going despite the setbacks, he built one of the most successful brands in history. The key to overcoming failure is learning how to use it. Instead of letting failure break you, let it build you. Instead of feeling sorry for yourself, study what went wrong. Did you lack the right skills? Did you take the wrong approach? Did you give up too soon? Failure is feedback. It is life's way of showing you what needs to be adjusted. Every time you fail, you gain information that will help you succeed next time. One of the most powerful examples of using failure as fuel is Abraham Lincoln. Before becoming one of the greatest presidents in U.S. history, Lincoln failed in business, lost multiple elections, and suffered personal tragedies. Most people in his position would have quit, but he refused to accept failure as the final outcome. He used every setback to make himself stronger, more determined, and more focused. And because he never gave up, he led the country through one of its most difficult times and left a legacy that still inspires people today. So how do you use failure to your advantage? First, change your perspective. Stop seeing failure as something negative and start seeing it as part of the process. If you want to succeed at anything, business, relationships, health, you will fail along the way. That's normal. It's necessary. It means you're learning. Second, analyze your mistakes. Don't just move on blindly. Figure out what went wrong. What can you do differently next time? What lesson did this experience teach you? Successful people don't make the same mistakes over and over again. They learn, adapt, and improve. Third, develop resilience. Failure only defeats you if you let it. If you get knocked down 7 times, get up 8. If one plan doesn't work, try another. If one door closes, find another way in. The people who win in life are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who never quit. The truth is, failure is not your enemy. It is your greatest teacher. Every successful person you admire has failed more times than you can imagine. The difference is, they didn't let failure stop them. They used it to propel them forward. You are going to fail. You are going to face obstacles. You are going to have moments where you doubt yourself. But if you keep going, if you keep learning, if you refuse to quit, then failure will not be the end of your story. It will be the reason for your success. So don't fear failure. Embrace it. Learn from it. Use it. Because the only true failure in life is giving up. Number 8, building momentum. How to stay consistent for 10 years. Starting is easy. Staying consistent is the real challenge. Most people set big goals, get excited for a few days, and then quit as soon as the motivation fades. They start a new workout routine, but after a few weeks, they stop. They begin a business, but after a few failures, they give up. They try to improve their finances, but as soon as they hit a setback, they go back to their old habits. This is why so few people truly succeed. Because success is not about what you do once. It's about what you do every day. It's not about working hard for a week. It's about showing up for years, even when you don't feel like it. The truth is, success is just the result of consistency over time. If you master consistency, you can master anything. Think about athletes, musicians, or entrepreneurs who are at the top of their game. They didn't get there by working hard for a month and then quitting. They showed up every single day for years. They built habits, routines, and systems that kept them moving forward. They created momentum. And once momentum is on your side, success becomes inevitable. In the 1960s, Muhammad Ali was not just known for his boxing skills, but for his discipline. He once said, "I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion." He didn't train when he felt like it. He trained whether he wanted to or not. And because he stayed consistent, he became one of the greatest boxers of all time. The problem with most people is that they rely on motivation to take action. But motivation is temporary. It comes and goes. Some days you feel inspired, and some days you don't. If you only take action when you're motivated, you will never achieve anything great. The key is to learn how to take action, even when you don't feel like it. One of the most powerful examples of consistency is Stephen King. He has written over 60 novels, and almost all of them have been bestsellers. How? He writes every single day, no matter what. He doesn't wait for inspiration. He doesn't wait for the perfect moment. He just writes. And because he stays consistent, he continues to produce great work year after year. Now think about your own life. How many times have you started something, only to quit after a few weeks? How many times have you set a goal, only to let it fade away because you weren't seeing immediate results? The truth is, most people fail not because they aren't capable, but because they aren't consistent. They give up too soon. If you want to build momentum in your life, you have to commit to showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. Even when progress is slow, even when it seems like nothing is happening, because every small effort you make is stacking up, even if you can't see it yet. In 1954, Roger Bannister was the first person to run a mile in under 4 minutes. Before he did it, people believed it was impossible. Scientists even claimed that the human body was not physically capable of such a feat, but Bannister trained consistently, pushing himself every day. And when he finally broke the record, something incredible happened. Within a year, multiple runners had also broken the 4-minute mile. What changed? The belief that it was possible. Success works the same way. Once you prove to yourself that you can stay consistent, you build confidence, and that confidence creates momentum. The more you show up, the more unstoppable you become. So how do you build momentum and stay consistent for years? First, commit to the process, not just the results. Most people quit because they don't see instant results. But success is a long game. If you're only focused on quick wins, you will never build real momentum. Instead of chasing fast results, Focus on building daily habits that move you forward. Second, remove the need for motivation. If you only take action when you feel motivated, you will fail. Instead, create a routine where action becomes automatic. If you want to write, set a daily time to write, no matter what. If you want to get in shape, schedule workouts like appointments that cannot be skipped. Make it non-negotiable. Third, track your progress. One of the best ways to stay consistent is to measure what you're doing. Keep a journal. Track your workouts. Write down your progress in business. When you see how far you've come, it will push you to keep going. Finally, eliminate distractions and excuses. Most people fail because they let small distractions pull them away from their goals. Social media, TV, endless scrolling, these things kill momentum. If you want to succeed, you have to protect your focus. Make time for what matters and eliminate what doesn't. Your next 10 years will be shaped by what you do every day, not by what you do once in a while, not by what you do when you feel like it, but by what you show up for consistently. The difference between those who win and those who don't is simple. The winners don't quit. They don't make excuses. They don't stop when it gets hard. They keep going, no matter what. And if you want to be one of them, you have to start building that consistency now. Your dreams are waiting. Your future is waiting. But it won't happen unless you put in the work every single day. Number 9, mastering money. Your wealth determines your freedom. Money is one of the most powerful forces in your life. It controls where you live, what opportunities you have, and even how much freedom you experience. But most people never learn how to master money. Instead, money controls them. They work hard, earn a paycheck, pay their bills, and then start the cycle all over again. They spend years trading time for money, never realizing that money should be working for them, not the other way around. If you want to fix your next 10 years, you have to learn how to take control of your finances. It doesn't matter how smart you are or how talented you are. If you don't know how to handle money, you will always be stuck in survival mode. Wealth is not just about how much you earn. It's about how you manage, multiply, and protect your money. Look at the difference between those who build wealth and those who stay broke. The wealthy understand that money is a tool, not just something to spend. They don't waste it on things that don't bring value. They invest, they save, they make their money work for them. On the other hand, the average person spends every dollar they earn, living paycheck to paycheck, and never building real financial security. Take the story of John D. Rockefeller. He started as a bookkeeper, earning just a few dollars a week. But from the beginning, he practiced strict money management. He saved aggressively, invested wisely, and reinvested his profits. He didn't spend his money carelessly. He made every dollar count. Over time, those small financial decisions built his fortune, and he became one of the richest men in history. Now compare that to lottery winners. Studies have shown that most people who win the lottery go broke within a few years. Why? Because they never learned how to manage money. They thought wealth was about having more, but true wealth is about knowing how to keep and grow what you have. If you want financial freedom in the next 10 years, you need to develop smart money habits today. The first rule is simple. Spend less than you earn. It sounds obvious, but most people don't do it. They upgrade their lifestyle as soon as they make more money. They buy expensive cars, take on unnecessary debt, and live beyond their means. But real wealth is built through discipline. It's about delaying short-term pleasure for long-term security. The second rule is to save and invest consistently. A small amount of money saved and invested regularly turns into a fortune over time. In the early 1900s, a young man named Warren Buffett started investing when he was just a teenager. He didn't wait for the perfect time or a huge paycheck. He started small, investing whatever he could. Decades later, that small habit turned him into one of the richest men in the world. The third rule is to make your money work for you. Wealthy people don't just earn money, they multiply it. They invest in businesses, real estate, and stocks. They create assets that generate income even when they're not working. Meanwhile, the average person only earns money from a job, which means the moment they stop working, their income stops too. If you want financial freedom, you need to build sources of passive income. Another key lesson is avoiding bad debt. Not all debt is created equal. Wealthy people use debt as a tool to invest, to build, to grow. But the average person drowns in debt for things that don't bring value: credit cards, luxury items, car loans. If you are constantly paying interest on things that don't make you money, you are making someone else rich while keeping yourself broke. One of the biggest mistakes people make is ignoring financial education. Most people spend years in school, but never learn how to manage money. They don't understand investing, they don't know how taxes work, and they don't have a plan for building wealth. Then they wonder why they struggle financially their entire lives. But those who take the time to study money, to learn how wealth works, and to apply smart financial principles, change their financial future forever. If you don't take control of your money, someone else will. The banks, the credit card companies, the government, everyone has a plan for your money if you don't. That's why you must take responsibility now. Start tracking every dollar you earn and spend. Set financial goals and stick to them. Build an emergency fund so you're never caught off guard. Start investing, even if it's just a small amount each month. The sooner you begin, the greater your financial security will be in the future. Your next 10 years will either bring financial freedom or financial struggle. The choice is yours. Will you spend recklessly and stay stuck in the same cycle? Or will you develop the discipline to manage, save, and multiply your money so that you can create the life you truly want? Money should not be a source of stress. It should be a tool that gives you options, opportunities, and freedom. But that only happens when you learn how to master it. So start today. Make a plan. Stick to it. And in 10 years, you will look back and realize that taking control of your money was one of the most powerful decisions you ever made. Number 10. The life you want, designing your 10-year vision. 10 years from now, your life will either be exactly where you want it to be, or it will be filled with regrets. The difference? Whether or not you take control today. Most people drift through life without a clear direction. They wake up, go to work, come home, watch TV, and repeat the cycle. Days turn into months, months turn into years, and before they know it, a decade has passed and nothing has changed. They look back and wonder, where did the time go? But here's the truth. Life doesn't just happen to you, you create it. If you don't decide where you want to be in 10 years, someone else will decide for you. If you don't take control of your future, you will spend your life working for someone else's vision instead of building your own. The first step to designing the life you want is clarity. You need to be crystal clear on what you want your future to look like. Most people have vague dreams. They say things like, I want to be successful, or I want to be happy. But that's not enough. You need to define it. What does success look like for you? How much money do you want to earn? Where do you want to live? What kind of lifestyle do you want to create? Without a clear vision, you will keep wandering aimlessly. Look at the great visionaries of history. Walt Disney didn't just hope to create a cartoon studio. He envisioned an entire empire of entertainment. Steve Jobs didn't just want to sell computers. He saw a future where technology would change the way we live. Before anything great is built, it is first imagined. If you can't see your future clearly, you will never achieve it. Once you have a clear vision, the next step is reverse engineering your success. This means working backward from your goal to determine what steps you need to take to get there. If your dream is to be financially free, what income level do you need to reach? What skills must you develop? What habits must you build? Success is not a mystery. It is a series of small, deliberate steps taken consistently over time. One of the biggest reasons people fail to create the life they want is lack of consistency. They start strong but lose motivation when results don't come fast enough. But here's the reality. Great things take time. Rome wasn't built in a day. Mastery isn't developed overnight. The people who achieve their dreams are the ones who keep going, even when progress seems slow. In 1955, a man named Ray Kroc walked into a small hamburger stand run by two brothers, Richard and Maurice McDonald. They had a great system, but no vision beyond a single restaurant. Kroc saw something bigger. He imagined a global fast food empire, and he committed to building it. It took years of effort, but eventually McDonald's became one of the most successful franchises in history. The key to building the life you want is long-term thinking. Most people think only about today, what's comfortable, what's easy, what feels good right now. But those who succeed think about the future. They sacrifice short-term pleasure for long-term rewards. They make decisions based on where they want to be in 10 years, not just what feels good today. If you want to take control of your future, you must become intentional with your time, energy, and focus. Every decision you make should align with your 10-year vision. If something doesn't bring you closer to your goal, eliminate it. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, don't waste your time on distractions. Invest in learning, networking, and building your business. If you want to be in the best shape of your life, don't wait until next year. Start now, even if it's just a small step. One of the most powerful exercises you can do is writing your future self a letter. Imagine it's 10 years from now, and you've achieved everything you wanted. What does your life look like? How do you feel? What advice would your future self give you today? Writing this down makes your vision real. It gives you something to strive for. The truth is, time will pass whether you take action or not. In 10 years, you will either be exactly where you want to be or filled with regrets about the things you didn't do. You have the power to decide which one it will be, but that power only matters if you use it. Your next 10 years will not be shaped by luck. They will be shaped by your choices, your habits, and your mindset. You don't have to be perfect, and you don't have to have everything figured out. You just have to start. Take the first step today and then take another tomorrow. Keep moving forward no matter what. Your future is in your hands. No one else is going to build it for you. The life you want is possible, but it requires commitment, discipline, and vision. So stop waiting. Stop hesitating. Take control, make a plan, and start creating the life you truly deserve. Because 10 years from now, you will either be grateful for the decisions you made today, or you will wish you had started sooner. The next 10 years of your life will come, whether you are ready or not. Time doesn't wait. The question is, when that time arrives, will you be proud of what you built, or will you look back with regret? Will you be living the life you dreamed of, or will you still be stuck in the same patterns, making the same excuses? Everything you need to change your future is already within you. You don't need more luck. You don't need more time. You don't need permission. What you need is a decision to stop waiting, a decision to stop hoping and start doing, a decision to take control of your habits, your money, your mindset, and your actions. If you have been waiting for the right time to start, understand this: the right time is now, not tomorrow, not next week, not someday, now. Because every day you wait is a day lost. Every year you delay is a year you can never get back. If you keep doing what you've always done, your next 10 years will look just like the last 10. But if you make the choice today to take action, even in the smallest way, you will set yourself on a completely different path. Success is not built in a single day, but it is built every day. The people who win in life are not the ones who had the best opportunities or the most talent. They are the ones who showed up, the ones who stayed consistent, the ones who pushed through failure, rejection, and doubt. They were not always motivated. They were not always confident, but they acted anyway. You don't need to have it all figured out right now. You just need to start. You just need to take the first step. Maybe that step is reading a book, setting a goal, making a plan, or changing one small habit. Maybe it's committing to learning, saving, or exercising. Whatever it is, just start. Because the smallest step in the right direction is always better than standing still. 10 years from now, you will thank yourself for the actions you take today. You will look back and realize that every choice, every habit, and every decision mattered. That every small step added up. That the future you once dreamed of became your reality. Not by luck, not by chance, but by your own effort. Your future is waiting, but it won't build itself. It's up to you. It always has been. The only question is, will you take control?